Newcastle United and Tottenham Hotspur are two clubs that are vying for the top 4 positions, and the race is very much on. Today we're going to be previewing that very game, Newcastle United against Tottenham. Please like the video and subscribe, it really would mean a lot to me. But now, let's talk Newcastle against Tottenham in the race for the top 4. Here we have both sides. We have Newcastle on the left and we have Tottenham on the right. We're going to be going through the starting lineups and then talking about the game in a little bit more detail. Let's begin with Spurs. Lloris, Romero, Dyer and Sanchez make up that defensive back line. We have Sanchez in for Clement Longley after his injury. Perisic and Porro on those right wing and left wing back positions. Skip and Højbjerg make up your central defensive midfielders, with Kulusevski, Kane and Son as the main front three. Kulusevski could be replaced by Richarlison, however his passing game I think is something, and his work rate really is something that I think that is going to be needed in this game particularly, so I think Richarlison stays on the bench. As for Newcastle, we have Nick Pope, Botman, Schär, Burn and Trippier, the standard Newcastle back four nowadays. We have Bruno Guimaraes, Joe Willock, Joe Linton, Gordon and Almiron. I think Gordon keeps his position even though it's a question mark about Alan Saint-Maximin. I think he played okay against Aston Villa and I think Eddie Howe will give him another shot. However, I do think that Almiron will come into this starting lineup for Jacob Murphy. While I do think that Jacob Murphy is okay, and I do think he works alright, I think Almiron is Newcastle's top scorer and he has that ability to really get into the box. His pace, his power is something that I think Newcastle are going to really need in this game. Alexander Isak in this match is going to be key as ever. Callum Wilson could come into this game, however, I think Isak has been very good when he has been playing. The game against Aston Villa was a little bit of a lackluster performance, but I think you can offer him that and then just keep him going. How do I see this game playing out? Well, I think Tottenham are going to do very much Tottenham things, and that means they're going to both naturally regress, but also be pushed back by the likes of the Newcastle forward line. And the way that Newcastle like to play, the way that Newcastle like to go forward, I think Tottenham are just going to naturally start to regress into their box. I don't think they're going to want the ball. I don't think they're going to want to dominate possession. I don't think they're really going to want to try and play Newcastle at their own game. Remember, Newcastle are at home. They're going to have the crowd with them. They're going to want to bounce back from a performance, and I do think they will bounce back. That's one of the terrifying things I think Tottenham need to think about, is Newcastle bounce back, which I think they will do. How are Newcastle going to approach us? Gordon is going to be very wide, as is Almiron. I'm going to explain why for just a second. We're going to have Joe Linton coming in and just really pushing themselves onto Tottenham. I think Newcastle are going to be very, very aggressive, and this means that Tottenham are going to naturally just start to regress, as I've said. These two players are going to be absolutely key in Joe Willock and Joe Linton. They're going to be key because of the runs and the penetration they're going to have from their possession that Newcastle are going to be keeping. Joe Linton is going to be making penetrating runs towards the byline, as will Joe Willock, off the blind side of the likes of Ivan Perisic and Pedro Porro. This is going to open up channels and avenues for Newcastle to really play passes forwards. Almiron is going to find that pass and Gordon is going to find that pass. When Joe Linton and the likes of Joe Willock make those runs, it's going to be incredibly key because you're going to immediately see the likes of Eric Dyer have to shuffle across, Romero is going to have to shuffle across, and that's going to create even more space. Oliver Skip might even drop back a little bit further. This is going to give even more time and space for, yep, you guessed it, Bruno Guimaraes. You already saw that, didn't you? He's going to be able to recycle possession round into certain pockets, and then we're going to see one of Newcastle's main threats come through, and that is Kieran Trippier out on this right hand side, sitting a little bit deeper because I think the recovery of possession and the recycling of possession is going to give him the ball. When he gets the ball, he's going to be playing crosses into the box, ready for Alexander Isak to start attacking. I don't think Tottenham are going to know what to do with this. I think the pace, I think the power, I think the presence of Newcastle and the way they go forward, specifically through these runs from Joe Linton and Joe Willock, is going to mean that Tottenham are going to be pushed back so far that they're going to really struggle to get out. Perisic is going to have his hands cut out, or work cut out I should say, and his hands full with Almiron, and Porro is going to have the same with Anthony Gordon. It's going to be a very, very tough game for the likes of Tottenham, but they will have chances going forwards. It's only natural in a game of football at this caliber. The battle for the top 4 is very much on, and it means that when they play, I think Tottenham will try to utilise their own transition in trying to create things to go forwards. And what that means is I think they're going to be utilising Heung-min Son. He started to come back into some kind of form. He scored a worldie against Bournemouth in their last game, and I think that once they do recover possession, which they will occasionally, I think they're going to look to play through the likes of Harry Kane, play through Kulusevski, who will both be trying to find passes into Heung-min Son to try and make something happen. Son will be making his runs through, and then you're going to see the vacating of the space that Kieran Trippier left. It's this space right here that Son is going to try and isolate. Cher will have to come across, and that will naturally open up different avenues for the likes of Kulusevski and Kane to burst into. It's imperative that Tottenham utilise this space with very quick effect, because we know how hard-working Newcastle are. We know that they're very good at both blocking the channels, blocking the lanes, but also making those recovery runs. Joe Linton and Joe Willock are very hard-working midfielders, so while they are also going forwards, they also have the ability to really pick up defensive positions when they need to. Gordon is less so, and so is Almiron. However, they do work hard as well, and so it's going to be very difficult, and Tottenham are not going to have a lot of time to try and make that transition happen. But when they do attempt it, it's going to be imperative that Son manages to take his chances. Kulusevski is going to be exactly the same, and so is Harry Kane. These front three are going to have so much pressure on their hands because of the limited amount of chances that I think they're going to get in this game. It's going to be very interesting to see how many chances they get, how many chances Newcastle afford them, because I do believe in this match it'll be Newcastle with the initiative, it'll be Newcastle with the ability to go forwards, and it'll be Newcastle with the real drive, determination to try and attack this Tottenham team. I do think that Newcastle will take this game. I think the crowd, the energy, the need to bounce back. Eddie Howe has his hand on this Newcastle team. He has a hold on them, and I don't think he's going to let them put in another poor performance. Tottenham, on the other hand, are rocking, and I do think that they're going to start to feel the pressure, feel the momentum from Newcastle, and inevitably waver once they come into the pressure of both St James's Park and this high energy, high tempo, high quality Newcastle side. It's a Newcastle win for me in this one, and possibly advantage in that top 4 race. That's it for today, guys. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave the video with a like and subscribe if you haven't for more content like this coming very soon. Make sure you hit that notification bell as well. You don't want to miss what's coming up in the near future. And of course, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below on Newcastle against Tottenham. Who do you see winning, and who do you see taking those all-important top 4 places? Let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear from you. But like I said, that's it from me for today. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. And I hope to see you in the next one. But until then, my friends, take care of yourselves, and bye-bye.